Welcome back to the Sunday Sports Update. As you see, Stoney.
They're number one.
Number one.
They're number one.
What a statement. You go to Soldier Field, you win the ball game, and then Megatron with a record-setting day.
Yep. Passes Herman Moore, all-time receiving yards, Lions history. But David, they're number one in the NFC North. And with Aaron Rodgers hurt, unless, God forbid, something happens to Stafford or Calvin or something like that, the Lions, the NFC North is over. They've won this division. I'm sorry.
We're calling it.
There's no way they can lose this division.
Right.
They will be favored, I think, in every single game they play the rest of the season. They should be expected to win the remaining 7. I'm not going to say they are going to run the table,
right,
but they're certainly going to be favored, or at least they should be at Pittsburgh. They got Tampa coming in. I know Jim Schwartz hates when he hears anybody looking ahead. Green Bay without Rodgers here at Thanksgiving. They should win that. At Philly, Philly's not very good at home. And then they have Baltimore and the Giants, two teams that are Here, they'll be favored. And at Minnesota, they're going to be favored in every game.
You look at today's game, and they dodged a couple of bullets along the way, Stoney.
Yeah, that's what
really look at
What's impressive is the fact that, they played good at times, but they still made really stupid moves. I mean, dumb penalties. Matthew Stafford did not have a great game at all. Guys dropped some passes, but the fact that they could overcome all that stuff and still win the game, that's very impressive. And I want to give a little kudos to somebody who I never give kudos to.
Who's that?
Scott Linehan.
Okay.
With a lead, instead of trying to sit on it and eating the clock, they ran a little bit, but they passed. They were aggressive. They got that other touchdown. I didn't think he had it in him, and that's really good. And there are a lot of guys, unsung heroes. How many really good tackles? Don Carey made tackles all over the place.
Yeah.
You didn't expect that coming into the game. Really good performance by the Lions. They had their mistakes, but every team does. And the fact that they went in there and did what they were supposed to do, beat a team with a beleaguered quarterback who probably shouldn't have even played.
Right.
It was pretty obvious.
Right.
Lions took advantage, and they won, and that's all that counts. You are what you are. You're 6-3. Unless, I'm telling you, this NFC North race is done.
Nick Fairley with a big-time stop there at the end of the Forte, trying to go for that 2 points.
Great play, and kind of made up for the ridiculous penalty he had earlier in that drive. And then Willie Young, what are you thinking?
I know.
Dumb penalties. But like I said, they won, and that's all that counts. And they go into Pittsburgh, take care of those Steelers, and away we go, home field for the playoff game.
Stoney.
A bye. I know.
Stoney going all out today.
I can't help it. I look at it, and that's what I see.
It's hard to contain the excitement.
The offensive line playing really good football. Warford and what else? I mean, seriously, those guys are really playing good.
So Stafford, 219 yards of passing. We see Megatron, the 83 receiving yards for Megatron on 6 catches.
Reggie Bush had a
Reggie
great
Bush
game.
Over 100 yards of rushing. Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. So they march into the Steelers' territory now. What's your prediction for this one, Stoney?
I think they win. I think they win. I don't think Pittsburgh's very good. I mean, they won today against Buffalo, but Pittsburgh's got some injuries. I think they can win.
Well, we go from the NFL to college football. Where do we begin, Stoney? We saw Michigan State today, now 16th in the BCS, setting up the huge game against Nebraska on Saturday. Game you can catch right here on ABC at 3:30.
They should win that game. I'm sorry, Nebraska showed me nothing against Michigan. Speaking of showing nothing, get to Michigan in about 30 seconds. Michigan State should win that game. Their defense should stop Nebraska. I mean, they have a freshman quarterback. He did fine. But against Michigan State's defense, I'm sorry, Michigan State should win this football game. Now, about those Wolverines.
Okay, here we go.
There's things I just don't understand. I mean, first of all, they're regressing. After Bo Schembechler died, they had the big game against Ohio State, and they lose that game. And since then, except for the blip of the 11-2 in Brady Hoke's first year, this program has really gone downhill, and I'm very upset about this, being a fan. I mean, Rodriguez, after Lloyd leaves, 3 wins, 5, 7, then Brady comes 11, and now last year 8, and this year, I mean, it's possible they might not win another game. It's possible. They are so bad on that offensive line, and Al Borges. Look, you know a lot more about football than I do, but after the fumbled punt, and you get the ball, and you run 2 running plays with Derek Green up the gut, what are you doing? They can't run the football. Devin Gardner's got to be able to do a little more than he's been doing. I think he's shell-shocked out there. And the defense, I know they had freshmen, they got young players playing yesterday, got to be able to make plays. It's really disheartening how all of a sudden this great program, I mean, this great program really has become irrelevant nationally, and it's a shame.
It's been tough.
Yes.
Stonehead of the week.
Stonehead of the week, I can't single out one guy, but I'm going to just say the Miami Dolphins, including Richie Incognito and including Jonathan Martin, but Joe Philbin and Jeff Ireland, Philbin the head coach, Jeff Ireland the general manager, they let this locker room atmosphere fester. And it's under their watch that this happened. And I don't know who's telling the truth and all this kind of stuff, but you had to know what was going on. So the Miami Dolphins, Stonehead.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's the one and only Stoney from 97 won the ticket. Catch him and Bill weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. Stoney, thanks for the time as always. And as he says, or points rather, #1 Lions.
Stoney's Stonehead of the Week is brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, the best mortgage banker. Call 1-800-LOW-RATE.